So very good afternoon to all of you. This is basically our the practical session. And in today's practical, I will brief you about what content we are going to cover during this course of the time. And that is expected during the finite element analysis practical. Okay. So I will start initially with what is expected at the end or at the completion of this course from you. And in order to achieve that, what plan we should have for completion of this course. Okay, so I will start sharing the screen. So I hope everybody is able to see, right? Everybody can see the screen.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, we are taking the finite element analysis practical. Okay, this course was initially introduced in the 6th semester of mechanical, and now they have bring the subject into the 5th semester. Okay, so if you see the weightage for this particular subject, we have 25 marks term work, okay, and 25 marks practical. Okay, 25 marks practical or oral practical examination. Okay, so see for 25 marks term work, okay, see I will just annotate it that on the screen. See we have this term work. Okay, I will write down this term work of 25 marks. Okay, and we have oral and practical examination and practical exam, okay, for 25 marks, oral and practical exam for 25 marks, right? Oral and practical exam for 25 marks, right? So see this I'm telling you now only. Afterwards this thing will not be repeated. So out of this 25 marks term work, okay, we have 15 experiments for 15 marks. Experiments for 15 marks. Okay, we have your course project. We have your course project for 5 marks. Okay, and we have your attendance during the practical session for 5 marks. So this completes your distribution for the term work. Okay, out of 25 marks of the term work, we have 15 marks experiments, 5 marks course project, and attendance for 5 marks. Now for this experiments for 15 marks, we are going to say conduct. Okay, we are going to conduct. Okay, let me come here. Okay, I will just come back here. For that, okay, we are going to conduct 8 experiments. Okay, for the 15 marks of the experiments, we are going to conduct 8 experiments, and I will take the average of all these 8 experiments for these 15 marks. Okay, I will take average of all these experiments. You can see I just highlighted those experiments. 8 experiments we will conduct. Each experiment will be say assessed for 15 marks, and I will take the average of all those 8 experiments for 15 marks. Okay, is that okay? Okay, so for this 8 marks experiments, sorry, 15 marks experiments, we have 8 experiments. Then we are going to go for the course project, 5 marks. What is there in the course project? Obviously, that I will let you know. Okay, that I will let you know. And for attendance, we have 5 marks. So is that okay with this term work? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Now see, and this oral and practical exam, it is for 25 marks again. Oral and practical exam, it is for 25 marks again, and that will be obviously based on what you are done in experiment, what you are done in course project, right? At the same time, what you are studied in the theory. Okay, so it's a combination of what knowledge you gain in the theory, also in the practical, and what you are done in the course project. Okay, so this oral practical examination will be based combined on theory as well as on the practical. Is that okay? So let's start. Okay, so see, These are the outcomes which are expected at the end of the course. Okay, so when you finish with all the practicals and your course project, so at the end of this uh, course, basically lab course, you should be able to you should be able to select the appropriate elements for the given problems. Okay, so we're going to perform this practical by using ANSYS, where element stands at the core. Okay, so there are certain elements like 3D finite STN 180, beam 88. So there are certain elements, and for particular problems we are going to select particular element only. Okay, why it is so? Okay, that I will let you know when we take the practicals. Okay, so you should be able to select those elements. Okay, appropriate elements for the given problem. Next course outcome, it is you should be able to select the meshing, suitable meshing and conversion test. Okay, you should be able to properly select the meshing. Okay, what is meshing? Okay, that we'll be doing when we'll take the practical. So meshing is one of the step, okay, in FEA practical that we are going to do. Okay, what is convergence? Okay, that is also I will let you know. So you should be able to do this. You should be able to do the meshing, and you should be able to do the convergence. Simple idea. See, if you solve any problem by any exact method, you will get some answer, right? If you solve the problem by using exact method, you will get some answer. Okay, so that is the exact answer. Now see, if you're going to select that, or if you're going to solve that problem by using finite element analysis, let's say by using two elements, you will get one answer. Okay, so see, if you're getting confused, let me write down some equation, right? Let's say this is the equation. Let's say the equation is d square y by dx square, d square y by dx square. Okay, let's say plus 5 d square y by dx square plus 5 is equal to 0. This is the equation which is given. If you saw, if I'm asking what is the value of with some boundary condition. Okay, this is the equation we need to solve with the boundary condition. Y at x is equal, see, y at x is equal to 0 is equal to, let's say, 1. Okay, and y at x is equal to 1, y at x is equal to 1 is equal to 2. So same sort of equation you solved in mathematics, right? So these are the boundaries. Boundary is 0 and 1. 0 is a boundary. Okay, 0 is the minimum value of x and 1 is the maximum value of x. So you have x ranging between 0 to 1. If you evaluate y at x is equal to 0, it is coming as 1. If you evaluate y when x is equal to 1, it is coming at 2. Now, if I'm asking you, what is the value of y? Okay, what is the value of y when x is 0.5, right? Let's say x is 0.7. X is 0.7. What is the value of y when x is equal to 0.7? Okay, and let's say if you solve this problem by using exact method, and you are getting the answer as x y at 1 y when x is equal to 0.7. Okay, and you are getting this value as let's say 1.8. Okay, let's say you are getting this value as 1.8. Is that okay? Is that okay? See, this is the equation given: d square y by dx square plus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, with this boundary condition, that is y when x is 0 is 1 and y when x is 1 is equal to 2. So these are the boundary condition. Now I'm asking what is the value of y when x is equal to 0.7. Okay, and when you solve it by using exact method, you are getting its answer as 1.8. Now if I'm asked you to solve this problem by using FEA, see, this is the answer which you are getting by using exact method, right? This is the answer which you are getting by using exact method. Now if by using FEA, if you solve by using one element, your answer might be 1.6. Okay, if you solve by, I'm going to that point, don't worry. If you solve by using two elements, you are getting the answer as 1.7. Okay, and if you're solving by using three element, you are getting the answer as 1.8. You're getting the answer as 1.8. Try to understand. This is one mathematical equation. When you solve by using exact method, you are getting answer as 1.8. When you solve by using FEA, by using one element, you are getting 1.6. By using two element, you are getting 1.7. If you use three element, you are getting 1.8. So in FEA, if you solve that problem by using three elements, you are getting same answer as exact method. Is that okay now? Is that okay? See, I'm just briefing you. I'm not going into detail. How to solve by using one, that we are going to see. How to solve by using two, that we are going to see. How to solve it by using three, that we are going to see. Now you try to understand. When you solve by using one, you are getting 1.6. When you solve by using two, you are getting 1.7. Now when you solve by using three, you are getting 1.8. So when you solve that problem by using three element, you are getting the answer as 1.8. That means by using three element, using answer is your answer is same as exact method, and that is nothing but called as convergence. Try to understand. Is that okay now? Is that okay now? Let me know.
Yes, sir.
Try to understand. This problem, when you solve by exact method, you are getting 1.8. Now we are solving by using FEA. See, this is FEA. In FEA, if you take one element, your answer is 1.6. When you take two element, 1.7. When you take three element, answer is 1.8. That means in FEA, if you solve the problem by using three elements, your answer it is same as exact method, and that is called as convergence. That is called as convergence, right? So we'll be doing that. Now you might feel that, sir, how we can solve by using one element, two element, three element, that we are going to solve. That is called as linear element, quadratic element, cubic element. So these are the different types of elements we have, right? Now third CO, third what is expected from you is you should be able to select an appropriate solver. Okay, you should be able to select appropriate solver for that particular problem. Fourth, what is expected from you? You should be able to interpret the results. See, when you solve the problem, obviously you're going to end with the solution, and from those solution and or from those results, you should be able to understand, or you should be able to predict something, right? So that is nothing but interpretation. Okay, just getting the answer or just getting the results, it's not sufficient, or it's not necessary. You should be able to conclude with those results. Okay, because subject it's analysis based. Okay, next thing is you should be able to apply basic FEA to solve engineering problems. So what are the basic concepts or basic fundamentals of FEA, finite element analysis, that you should be able to apply? So you should be able to solve the engineering problems. And six, what is expected is you should be able to validate the solution. Validation, see, until and unless you're going to validate the answers, no one is going to trust you. Okay, validation, it is important. It's not necessary that you solve the problem by using ANSYS and your answer is correct. It's not necessary. It will depends upon whether you have properly entered the data or not, whether you have properly selected the element or not, you have done the proper meshing or not. Okay, so you impose a proper certain boundary conditions or not. So all these terms is going to affect your answers. So that is the reason why you should be able to validate the solution which you got. Okay, so you should be able to validate this solution. Is that okay? So what is expected? You should be able to select the element. You should be able to do the meshing. Okay, you should be able to select solver. You should be able to interpret the result. You should be able to apply the basic fundamentals of FEA, and you should be able to validate the solution. Is that okay? Right? Is that okay to you? All of you? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see, to get, okay, or to do this everything, okay, or to understand all these things, okay, what is expected is, okay, we need to perform all these practicals. Try to understand. Okay, so these are the practicals which we are going to perform. Okay, the first practical is structural analysis, that is bar under axial load. Okay, so we will have a bar, okay, to which we are going to apply the load along its axis. That is nothing but axial load. Okay, that is the first practical which we are going to perform. A simple bar, okay, of uniform cross section, what we have seen in the today's lecture. Okay, and to that particular bar we are going to apply the axial load. Okay, so that is our first practical. Second practical, it is structural analysis. Same analysis we are going to do. That is again bar under axial load. Okay, but that is with the thermal effect. Okay, thermal effect. That is what is called as coefficient of thermal expansion. We are going to consider. Okay, in those problems we are going to consider the coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay, so that we are going to consider. Next, the structural analysis, bar under torsional load. Okay, so in the bar under torsional load we are going to apply, okay, some torque, right? And as a result will be getting the angular displacements. So that we are going to see, right? So see, if you see all these practicals that are basically related with the structural, we are interested to calculate stress and strain. Okay, when the problem belongs to structural field or basically the structural analysis, our aim is to calculate the value of stress and strain. Okay, that is the ultimate aim we are focusing. We want stress, we want strain. Now see, when we'll go to thermal analysis, okay, this is basically related with your heat transfer subject, or now it is thermal engineering, where we are interested to calculate the temperature distribution as well as the heat flow. Okay, so in thermal analysis we are interested to calculate temperature distribution as well as heat flow. Okay, now the next thing, it is a thermal analysis of truss and analysis of beam. It is again the structural analysis. This is again the structural analysis, where we are interested to calculate stresses, strain, reaction, movements, all those things. Okay, so this is analysis of truss, analysis of beam. They are majorly focusing on structural analysis, right? Now see, analysis of axisymmetric element. Just take the example of boiler or pressure vessel, right? Boiler or pressure vessel. It's basically symmetric about its axis, right? Any cylindrical shape, okay, or any circular shape, obviously it has to be symmetric about its axis. So that is nothing but the axisymmetric element. So we are going to do the analysis of such a boiler or a pressure vessel, okay, within in FEA, right? Now 8 experiment, it's a free vibration analysis, where we are interested to determine, see, as the name indicates, vibration analysis. Now you have the subject DOM, right, dynamic of machinery, where you are interested to calculate the value of omega n, and that is basically known as a natural frequency. Okay, natural frequency, that is called as omega n. So same we are going to do here. Okay, let's consider this cantilever beam. Okay, this cantilever beam is going to vibrate due to its own weight. It might be like this. Due to own weight, it might bend like this. Okay, or it may go like this due to own weight. Okay, so that we are going to see in free vibration. Okay, that our purpose is to calculate the natural frequency of oscillation, right? So that might be free vibration or might be force vibration. Similarly, let's consider this beam, cantilever beam, horizontal cantilever beam. Now we are going to apply some force. In the last case, the force was not there. In this case, the force is there, right? So it might deform like this. Due to weight. Okay, due to this load, it might deform like this due to the applied load, right? So this is the case of force vibration. Previous case, when the force was not applied, this is the free vibration. So in all the cases, we are interested to calculate the natural frequency. Okay, and this natural frequency should not match with the frequency of oscillation. If it matches, what happens is resonance occurs. Okay, and in that case, the structure starts oscillating with the maximum amplitude, right? And when structures oscillate with the maximum amplitude, there are chances that the structure will fail. Okay, that we are supposed to avoid. So that is the reason why we are calculating the natural frequency. Is that okay with all these experiments? Have you understood what we are going to cover during the experiments? Is that okay to all of you? Is that okay? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are the practicals which we are going to perform. Now see, where we are going to perform this practical, right? Where we are going to perform the practical. So we are going to perform all this practical on ANSYS, right? We are going to perform all this practical on ANSYS. See, if you search on the net, okay, ANSYS student version, okay, you will get this copy directly available. Okay, ANSYS student version, you just go to the student version. Okay, you just go to this free trials. Okay, and you can just download, okay, the product. Okay, you can download the product, right? This is directly available. See, you can see here, free student software download. Can you see that? Free student software download, right? And we will be doing this practical on this student software ANSYS student. So this is a thing which you are supposed to download. This version you are supposed to download. Okay, how you can download? You just go to download now. Okay, just click that. Okay, and you can download this version. You can download this version, okay, which is valid till the completion of your course, right? This is valid till the completion of your course. Okay, so this version you download, it is directly available on the ANSYS website officially. Okay, student free version, right? So this version you can download. Okay, meanwhile you can check your system requirements. Okay, and you make sure that your PC or laptop will have some these specifications. Okay, and this version it is 64-bit. Okay, how to install? Simple steps are there. Okay, just run your setup file. See, when you click on this download, now when you download it will be downloaded in the zip file. Okay, you need to extract that file. See, first is you just extract that file. Okay, and in that file you will get one file that is setup.exe. This setup file you will get. Okay, just right click on that and just read it as administrator. Okay, and for the step that you need to accept all those conditions, and just it will automatically run. Okay, so it will be get finished. Okay, I have same version installed. Okay, so I can show that. So this is the version, Mechanical APDL Product Launcher. You can see this one, Mechanical APDL Product Launcher 2021. So I will just click on that. Okay, I will just click on that. Okay. So once you click on that, see, you will get one window like this. Can you see that? All of you? All of you, can you see this one?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see, this is the starting window which you will get. It's a simple. See, when you go to this, try to understand. Huh? See, stimulation environment, it is ANSYS only. Try to understand. I'm making you everything clear. Stimulation environment, it's ANSYS only. It's ANSYS, right? And see here, you need to select this ANSYS Mechanical Enterprise. Okay, this is the only license which is available for the student. If you select Premium, Pro, or Pre-Post, okay, these license will not be available. So basically, you need to select this Enterprise only. This is the only which is available, right? Is that okay? So you select this only, yeah. ANSYS Mechanical APDL Mechanical Enterprise. This license you select. If you select, it doesn't matter, but it will. This license it is not available, so you won't be able to access the software. This Premium, Pro, Enterprise, Pre-Pro, so these are not available. So select this Enterprise only. Now see, if you can see here, working directory. Can you see this working directory? All of you, can you see?
Yes.
See, what is working directory? It's basically the folder where you want to save all these files, okay, of ANSYS, right? Working directory, it's basically the folder where you want to save all the files, because see, when you perform the practical in the ANSYS, multiple files will be generated, right? Multiple files will be generated, and those files you need to store at some location. Okay, so see, this is a default directory which is given, right? Now if I want to store somewhere else, I will just click on browse. Okay, I will browse. Let's say I need to save this on a desktop. let's say I need to save this on a desktop, so I'll just click it on desktop. Okay, and I will select, okay, any folder where I want. Okay, I will select the folder where I want, right? Let's say I need to save this file, let's say in the download. I will select this store in a download, let's say in FEA lecture video. Okay, FEA lecture video, right? I will just save it here. Doesn't matter, it's just a selection of the folder, right? I will just click here and I will say okay. Okay, so everything will be get saved in that particular folder. Now next thing is file. Next thing is file, right? So in file, okay, you can see the job name. So here I will give the job name like introduction. I will write on here introduction to ANSYS. Introduction to ANSYS. So this is nothing but a job name. Okay, this is nothing but a job name which I've given. Okay, that means this is our name of the practical. Name of the practical is introduction to ANSYS. I just given. So at the bottom you can see the option to run. Okay, at the bottom you can see the option to run. So just click it. Right. Once you click it, okay, so output window will open, and you remember, you don't close this window. This output window has to be opened. You don't close it. Okay, you need not to close it. Okay, it should be opened. That output window should be open, right? Is that okay? So you can see the screen. I will just maximize that screen. Okay, I will just maximize that screen. Okay, I just maximized. Okay, so this is the interface GUI. You can see graphic user interface for the ANSYS, right? Which we get. Now see, you can see these different options which are available: file, select, okay, list. So these are plot controls. Okay, this is basically the utility menu which we have. Utility menu. This is called a utility menu. Okay, in the file, okay, you can say you can also start. You can clear this file. You can start with a new file. You can change the job name. Okay, we have given it as an introduction to ANSYS. You can change it. It's a change directory. This is basically the folder where you want to save the work that you can change. You can change the title. Okay, so multiple options are available. So when we perform the practical, we will go into the detail each of the option, right? So this is what is there in the file. Then select. Okay, this is basically used to select whatever there in the screen. Okay, in the screen you might have some 2D shape, you might have some 3D shape, you might have nodes, elements. So those you can select by using this select option. Right? You can see here, select everything below, component assembly. So whatever there is on the screen, if you want to select, you need to go with this option, that is select. Okay, now if you can see the option of list, okay, list. See, on the screen there will be multiple elements, there will be multiple nodes. So if you want to see how many nodes are there, how many elements are there, okay, you need to go to list. Okay, you can go to list so as to select, or so as to see how many number of elements, how many number of nodes, how many forces are available, how many reactions are available. All those things you can go and you can select. Is that okay? Is that okay to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now see next option. I am just briefing you. When we'll see the practical, actually we are going to use those options. So at that time the things will be more clear, right? But this basic introduction, what is there at the GUI, it should be known to you, right? So see, in the plot controls, you can see the options. Okay, you can see options within the options you can get. Okay, so when you go to plot controls, if you go to style, see, you can see color, graphs, all those background, what background you want, right? Okay, now let me show how to use one of the options. Let's go to style, let's go to color. Okay, now say the background which is black, now you're going to see I want it to be white. Okay, so I'll make it white. Style, I'll go to color, I will go to reverse video. You can see the options. Okay, now the background is white. Is that okay? So just one demo I given. So similar multiple options are available, right? This is font controls. See, if you want to see the animation, you can go to animate. Okay, if you want to capture the image of the screen, just click to capture image, so this image gets captured. Once the captured, you can save it where you want. Okay, so all those options are available in the plot controls. Is that okay? Likewise, work plane, we have parameter, we have macros, many controls. Okay, so all these options are available. Now see, let me clear you that in between you need to keep on clicking save db. See, this is very important. Save db, it is like control s. Okay, so we need to keep on clicking the save db. In between, you just keep on clicking save db, right? Okay, now see, all of you, if you can come to this side, if you can come to this side, right hand side of the control panel, see, this is basically visualization. It will show, this will show you the isometric view, this will show you the oblique view, this will show you the front view, okay, right view, top view, back view, left hand side view, bottom view. Okay, so this is just okay, how in which manner we want to see, from front or top or from side, whether we want to fit into the screen, whether we want to zoom it, whether we want to zoom out. All those options are available on the right hand side of the control panel. Is that okay? All of you, is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Right? Now see, we have seen what is there at the top, what is there at the right hand side. Okay, now we will come to the main point. Okay, we will come to the main point. Can you see this main menu? See, this is very important. This is very important where we are setting the problem. Try to understand. Okay, now see, I will just brief you. If you go to, just click on preferences. When you go to preferences, okay, see, I'm telling you now, the introduction which I'm giving, this will not be repeated for every practical. Okay, because this is a general introduction which you should be, or which you should know. Okay, we can't go into the detail of every term for every practical. What happens otherwise, that practical remain then far away. That is the reason. So go to preferences. See, in preferences, when you click on preferences, you can see this window. Okay, this window will come when you select. When you click on preferences, this window will come. Can you tell me what do you observe here? What is that? Structural, thermal, magnetic nodal, magnetic edge, high frequency, electric. Can you see? See, this is basically the field in which we are going to solve the problem. Try to understand. Huh? Try to understand. I will let you know. See, this is basically the field in which we are solving the problem. Let's say I am going to select structural field. Let's say I need to do some structural analysis, basically the bar under axial load, where I will select structural element. I will select structural element. So when I select structural element, okay, now see, now you will understand. Sir, why to select structural element? See, if you have bar which is applied with axial load, obviously we are interested what is the value of displacement, what is the value of stress, what is the value of strain. So we are interested in all those structural parameters. So that is the reason why I'm selecting structural field. Okay, now I will just click on OK. Now see, but just by seeing at the window, you might understand that ANSYS is not restricted, or finite element analysis, it is not restricted only to mechanical. You can have the application in electric field also. So if you talk about finite element analysis, it is a huge domain which is applicable in electric, electronics, your biomedical application, computational fluid flow, okay, your fracture mechanics, okay, your material science, meteorology, everything it is applicable. Your robotics, in robotics automation, it's also applicable, right? So it's a huge domain. Okay, so I will click on structural. So let's see what difference you will observe when you click on structural. I will just click on structural. I will say okay, simple. I will just say okay, right? Now see, this is a very important term, what is called as preprocessor. Preprocessor, because in preprocessor you are setting the entire problem. Okay, whatever the given data, it is with you, that all given data you're going to enter, okay, within all those tabs which are available. So the given data, whatever the given data is there, that all given data we are going to enter in all these tabs. which are available. Simple, we are setting the problem in preprocessor, right? Entire problem we are setting in a preprocessor. Okay, it might be, see what they are giving force. Okay, they are giving material properties, they are giving cross sections, they are giving length of the element, they are giving modulus of rigidity, all whatever they are given in the problem, that we are going to input in preprocessor. So various steps are available, okay, to enter those values. Okay, so entire problem we are setting in preprocessor. So preprocessor, it is very important as far as setting the problem is concerned, or as far as inputting the data is concerned. Okay, so let's go to the one tab. First tab, element type. Okay, see, in ANSYS, until and unless you select the elements, your problem will not be solved, because see, you are entering all the properties for element only. Okay, if you ask where to enter material value of E, where you're going to enter the value of material E, you're supposed to enter the material, see, property E, that is modulus of elasticity, only for element we are going to enter. Okay, so this is very important, element. Let's say I will go to add, edit, delete. I will go to add. Now see which are the elements which are available for structural field. Try to understand. Huh? We have selected structural field. So what are the elements available? We have link, we have beam, we have pipe, we have solid, we have shell, we have solid shell. You can see number of elements which are available. Gasket. You can see these are the elements which are available for structural field, right? These are the elements which are available for structural field, right? So I will just cancel it. I will just close it. Okay, now what I will do, I will change the field now. I will go to preprocessor. I will deselect structural. I will select thermal, and I will say okay. Okay, now just go to again element type. Go to add, edit, delete. Go to add. Now see, can you see the difference? What you are observing between last elements which are available for the structural field, the elements were different. Now just go for thermal field. You can see thermal field, which elements are available? Conduction, convection, radiation. Are you able to see the difference? Okay, can you see the difference? All of you, can you see the difference? See, for structural field, the elements were different. They were beam, they were links, they were what you can say, beam, link, 3D finite STN 180. Now when we select thermal field, the elements are different, because in thermal, if you see, is it been started in the lecture, conduction, convection, radiation, modes of heat transfer in your thermal engineering?
Yes.
Yes, right. So see, for conduction, what do you require? It's thermal conductivity, right? Thermal conductivity. For conduction, you require thermal conductivity, which is available only in this element, 3D conduction 33. Okay. For convection, you require heat transfer coefficient, which is available only in this element, that is convection 34. Right? Is that okay? So if you select this conduction 33, then only you will be able to enter the value of thermal conductivity. If you select this convection 34, then only you will be able to enter the value of heat transfer coefficient. Is that okay? So that is the reason why you should be able to select the proper elements. Okay, now see, if you ask this, okay, if you ask this element, see, you just select this element, link 3D conduction 33, this element you have selected, and if you try to enter the value of modulus of elasticity for this element, it will not be entered. Is that okay? Is that okay? You will not be able to enter the value of modulus of elasticity for this element. No, because it is conduction, where you will be able to enter only conductivity. Right? So that is the difference what you observed. Right? So let's say randomly I'm selecting one element. Let's say, let me select this. I select conduction 33. I have selected. I say okay. I'll just close that. Right? Now I have selected the element. Right? Now once you select the element, you need to enter cross section. Try to understand. Real constant, it is nothing but cross section area. Real constant, it is nothing but the cross section area which you are supposed to enter. Okay, so in real constant, you will be entering the cross section. I will go to add, edit, delete. I will go to add, right? I will go to see. I will just cancel it. I will do it again. I'll go to add, edit, delete. I will go to add. When I click on add, I will be adding the cross section area for this particular element. Is that okay now? Have you understood now why element it is required? Because you are entering everything for element. So now when you are trying to enter the real constant, you need to go through the element. You need to go through the element, right? So I'm going through this element. So I'll select okay. Okay. So it is basically asking what cross section area I should have. Let's say I should have 1 meter square. So I will enter 1. I will enter 1 meter square. Cross section area 1 meter square. If you want to, you enter 2 meter square. I'll just say okay. Okay. So this is the one set I have entered. One set I have made of 2 meter square. Let's say I need to add one more set. I will add one more set. I will go through this link. I'll say okay. I will add second set. Now you can see second set. Let's say 4 meter square. 4 meter square. I will enter 4 meter square. Okay. So now I will get one set of 2 meter square. Set number 1 of 2 meter square. Set number 2 of 4 meter square. Okay. If you want to edit it, just select that. Click on edit. Just say okay and edit it. It is 2 meter square. If you want to become 3 meter square, you do that. I'll just say okay. So set 1 initially, which was of 2 meter square. Now I change it to 3 meter square. Likewise, you can do. So I'll just close it. Is that okay? Is that okay, all of you? Right. Now see, now I will go to material properties. Material properties. See, in material properties, you can enter the material properties like modulus of elasticity. You can enter modulus of rigidity. You can enter thermal conductivity. You can enter heat transfer coefficient. All those you can enter. For that, we need to go to material models. Material models we need to go. Okay. Now see material models. Now I have selected conduction element. Try to understand. I have selected conduction element. That is the reason why it is showing thermal here. You can see. I select. See, if you are not able to recollect it, I selected conduction element. You can see here. Element type. Which element I select? I have link 33. That is conduction element. That is the reason why in material properties it is asking me to enter the value of conductivity, right? It is asking me to enter the value of conductivity. Is that okay? Okay. So here I can go to conductivity. I can say that material it is isotropic. I can enter the value of conductivity. Let's say 50. Okay. So that I can do. Is that okay? Right. So this is what is we are going to do in the material models. Now next thing is section. Try to understand. This is very important. What is section? See, if you see the problem of beam where bending moment occurs, okay, if you see the problem of beam where bending occurs, in that case there is no use of cross section. Okay, cross section area doesn't matter. Okay, what matters? Yeah. Can you repeat? See, in the cases where we have the problem of beam, okay, where we have the problem of beam, okay,
इसके बाद लेक्चर नहीं है क्या?
Let's complete this first. Okay, so see, in the problem of where generally, okay, we are going to apply the force, and as a result of that bending occurs, in that case, okay, we need to calculate movement. Okay, where cross section area it is not required. What we need to calculate? We need to calculate movement. And for such problems like beam, okay, instead of real constant, we need to go for section. Okay, because when you select beam as an element, it will not allow you to enter real constant. When you select beam as an element, you need to go for sections. Straightforward. Okay, let me clear you. Okay, I will go to structural field. I will select structural field. Okay, I will select element type. I will go to add, edit, delete. I will go to add. I will, let's say, select beam. I will select 2 node 188. I am selecting beam. I am selecting 2 node 88. I will say okay. I will close it. Right now, just see. Now, just a time before, I told you that beam will not allow you to enter real constant. Just check it. I will go to real constant. I'll go to add, edit, delete. Okay. I will go to add. Okay, I will go to add. Okay, I will select this beam 188. Okay, now see, you will get one message. Can you see this message? Beam does not requires real constant. Can you see that? Okay, so beam will not allow you to enter real constant. So for the problem of beam, we need to go for section. For the problem of beam, we need to go for a section where we can enter the section, right? Let's say for beam, we will go to beam again. We will go to common section, and we will enter its size. Okay, what is B? Okay, what is the width? What is height? That we are going to enter. Width and height we will enter here. Okay, so automatically it is going to calculate movement. It is automatically going to calculate the movement. Is that okay? B and H we will enter, so it will automatically calculate the movement. See, if it is rectangular, how will calculate movement? BH cube by 12, right? Is that okay? So likewise we will take. So this is all about section. Now next thing is modeling. Modeling. See, in modeling, what we will be doing? We will initially create the nodes. We will create the nodes and we will join the nodes with the help of elements. Right? In modeling, what we'll do, we will create these nodes. Try to understand. In modeling, we will create the nodes, and once we created the nodes, we will join the nodes with the help of elements. So that is what we are going to do in modeling. And meshing, in meshing, obviously, we'll mesh it. Okay. Next thing is in loads. In loads, we are going to apply the loads. Like force, we will apply the movements, but we will apply the loads until and unless we are going to fix it. So once we are going to fix it at certain point, that means until and unless we are going to impose certain boundary conditions, we are not able to apply the forces. So that we are going to do in loads. And at the end, we will go to solutions to solve the problem, right? So in solution, we will just solve the problem. Is that okay? So in solution, we will just click on current ls, solve, and current ls. So we will get the solution. And in general post-proc, we will get the results. In general post-proc, see, in pre-processor, you're setting the problems. In solution, you're just asking to solve the problem. And once it is solved, we are picking the answers from general post-proc. So in general post-proc, all the answers are available. We just need to pick it. Okay, we just need to pick those answers in the general post-proc. So that is basically what you're supposed to, or what is expected in the answers, right? So in preferences, you just select the field where in which we want to solve the problem. So all those elements for that particular field will be available. In pre-processor, you set the entire problems. So see, nothing should be missed from the given data. So everything you need to enter in pre-processor, right? And in solution, you just click to solve the problem. In solution, you are not doing anything. You are just giving the command to solve the problem. Okay. And in general post-proc, whatever the solution that we got, okay, we just try to get those answers. We just need to pick those answers in general post-proc. That is what is expected in general post-proc, right? So this is basically the outline, what we are going to do in the practicals. So these are the general steps which we'll be performing step by step, right? Step by step we will go so as to solve that problem. So that is what is expected. Is that okay, all of you? Is that okay to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Is that okay? Now see, so this is the session where I have introduced you, okay, about what is expected from you by the completion of this course. To complete that, or to attain those course outcomes, what practicals we are going to perform, okay, and how we are going to perform those practicals by using ANSYS. Okay, what is the how the ANSYS is available, or from where you can download that ANSYS? I already told you. Okay, what is the graphic user interface of ANSYS? That I already explained you. Okay, so in the next session we will be immediately starting. We'll be starting with the our very first, okay, with our very first what you can say, the practical. Okay, our very first practical, that is structural analysis, that is bar under axial load. So this is the first practical which will be starting in the next lecture. Okay, so if you have any doubt or difficulty, you let me know. Otherwise, we can conclude the session now. Is that okay, everybody? Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.